First time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking each day as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything, BDE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you can never really know what's up next.
Hello.
Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman for Up Next, postwrestling.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever podcast app you use. And of course,
twitch.tv/upnext podcast. Hello, Twitch room.
Hello, Twitch room. What's going on? Yes, we are Braden and Davie. We are the BDE. We are your NXT friends. And well, we're here tonight to talk all about some NXT. We have lots of news because I think this is the first time under the post wrestling umbrella that we got we're uploading on a whole new
we're using
world?
Red Circle now. So moving forward, if you're having if you're listening to this, I assume you found us, but if you're having problems with getting this into your podcast feed or whatever, you can refresh the RSS. The RSS is on the Post Wrestling website, or just kind of research for us on your app, so you'll be able to get us updated every week, just dropping into your phones or whatever you use to listen to us.
Yeah, so we're trying a new thing with Post Wrestling, and it looks like we're gonna have some ads. So don't be alarmed if you hear someone telling you to buy steaks or certain drinks, or it should be like monetized with hard seltzers or strains of different sativa hybrids, but we don't know at this point. But
and it's all location specific, so some of you may not get any ads, some of you might get ads, and we apologize. I hope they're entertaining adverts, at least for you, and and buy their shit. I don't know, if you want a new mattress, go get it. A
new mattress. We got one of those a while ago. The ads for that. We don't know the ads. Maybe one day we'll be reading our own. Maybe one day it'll be Blue Chew or Manscaped or something. But hey, we're just trying to get a bag. All right. We're just trying not to fumble, and a little bit of thing. We are, content creators on our own. We don't work for, we work for ourselves. So we're going to be trying some new things. Of course, we're powered by our Patreon and all our listeners there, which of course you can go check out, and that kind of doesn't change. But if any changes happen, just maybe reset that RSS feed if for whatever reasons. But we're moving on up, I guess.
Absolutely, it's I know most of you listen to Post Wrestling as well. They've started introducing ads on their shows as well. It's just to hopefully support us a little bit. We put a lot of time into this, and I know not everyone can kind of support us on Patreon. So this is just a way of just sending us a few bucks. So we appreciate your patience listening to these ads and stuff, if you get them. If not, sorry for rambling on about it.
Yeah, maybe you're on Twitch and you're like, or the YouTube, and you're just like, don't hear or see any of that. Doesn't affect you. So welcome. Then you can see what we look like as well, because yes, we are roommates and we live together in Toronto, but you're away. You're in the UK.
I am indeed
hanging about. So we do this over Zoom since you're away for a few months. So how are you doing? What time is it there? It's 10:20 Eastern time after NXT right now.
It's 3:20 a.m. here right now as we're starting this show.
Aren't you glad you stayed up so late to see NXT?
I am, because I do this show, and I thought we had a cracking main event today. So I quite enjoyed the show today, and looking forward to getting into the highs and the lows, as always, of NXT.
Well, like I said, we're in two different places at this time, but maybe if you're listening to us, you might be in and around one of us, because both of us are going to be involved in some live events that are coming up where we both are. Davie, I know you've announced that you're taking part in a fun show over there in where? Leeds?
Leeds, yeah, WrestleMania weekend on the Sunday. We'll be joining the lads at Grapple and BWE for British podcast. British Wrestling Podcasting Isn't Dead. It's a live podcast event with all three of us putting on a bit of a show and getting on to interact with you guys. It should be a lot of fun. I know Damian Abraham's band Fucked Up is meant to play in Leeds that night. I guess sort of COVID restrictions and all that permitting, but and then there's the Hooked on Wrestling event at the Walkabout later that evening to watch WrestleMania. So should be a fun event, and absolutely get your tickets for it. It's I'm just finding the site now, but I believe it's £7, and that gives you kind of a discount for the Hooked on Wrestling event as well. $7.50, and go to grapple.bigcartel.com. That's GRAPPL.bigcartel.com to get your tickets for that. And I know there's going to be a raffle. There's going to be lots of good beer because it's taking place at the Northern Monk Refectory. It's a kind of craft beer brewery place, so lots of good beer to enjoy if that's your thing. And yeah, should be a really great day, starting at 3:30, taking it to 7 p.m. Plenty of time to, if you want to have a little power nap before WrestleMania as well. So should be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to meet all of you Brits if you're around, and try and make it to Leeds.
Yeah, because you're over there. You're going to make the trip to Leeds and hang out with the Grapple guys and the BWE people. Shout out Bushby. And some of you Canadians right now, you're like, well, what about us? Well, I just posted up today. Go follow the socials, of course, at upNXT Podcast and the Facebook group. But if you are in the Toronto area, upNXT and Post Wrestling putting on an AEW Revolution watch along at a real bar. No more watch alongs by myself in a room on Twitch. No, those are still fun. But I'm going to do one in this city at Hard Luck Bar on Sunday, March 6th for AEW Revolution. And I know that we're probably going to be doing one for WrestleMania as well at the brother bar or sister bar of Hard Luck, which is Sneaky D's in Toronto. So again, follow all the socials. If you are in the Toronto area, or hey, maybe you're a little outside, make the trip, come watch the pay-per-view. It'll be a lot of fun. There's an Eventbrite page for that. It's like $10 to buy the ticket pre-show, and then if you come at the door, we'll charge you $15. But yeah, go check that out and come hang out. I'm excited. Hopefully we can hang out with some listeners, like you said, like whether it's over there in the UK or whether it's over here, because things are slowly starting to lift here and the restrictions and stuff like that. So I am super excited to see or meet or talk to any of you guys, but go check us out again, follow all the socials. But yeah, why not come hang out and watch some wrestling? There may be even some raffles for some prizes.
I love a raffle.
And the prizes that we have in store will blow your mind, but I've said too much. So come by.
And just think, $10.
I'm super excited.
Like you'd be buying the pay-per-view at home.
Yeah.
For like what, $40, something like that anyway. So
exactly.
So come spend that 10 to hang out with your friends and actually watch wrestling the way it's meant to be, with people. And also I think I'm gonna try over here. I know there's a bar in Old Street in London that is showing AEW Revolution as well. So hit me up if you're in the area and interested, because I'm thinking of just making the trip to there on my own. So it'd be great to see any fans who maybe have the Monday off who can come along, because it will be a late one over here. But absolutely, I'm kind of jealous I can't do this with you, Braden, because I know it's something we've been talking about a while, doing these watch events, but hopefully it's going to start being a bit more of a consistent thing as we're coming out of this pandemic, knock on wood, and maybe not say never doing the Twitch watch alongs again, because they're really fun, especially I think in those winter months, but it's time to start watching with people as well.
Yeah, like I definitely love the community that we have, whether it's our Facebook group or Twitter or Twitch and stuff, but it is pretty fun to go to wrestling events again. We did Grand Slam and that was pretty cool to meet some people, but to just have an event. And yeah, I know some listeners are in the Toronto area, and like we said, some Brits as well. So it is kind of cool that we're starting up to do these again. We want to do so many more of these in the future, but yeah. So we're super excited. We got some stuff going on. Slowly but surely, we'll be back in the mix of things. But I mean, there's a big elephant in the room that we needed to address, and we need to address it, Davie, because I think it was last week where we were talking about the biggest comeback in all of professional wrestling, not Stone Cold Steve Austin, but Cody Rhodes maybe coming back to the WWE. But there's some bigger news that we need to talk about specifically for our show, and anyone who's listened to us for quite a while know what this news is, because as we get excited for people coming to the WWE, maybe we're also very excited that someone left the WWE and showed up somewhere else this week in a return. And I can see I'm doing this over Zoom. You're confused, and you of all people, Davie, should be.
I thought you were well. They haven't. I thought you were talking about Kona Reeves for a second. I was like, wait, what?
Kona Reeves? No. I mean, yeah, he's doing indie dates again. So shout out Kona. We know we love big cones, but no.
Kairi.
What I'm talking about
Kairi,
is
don't call her Sane. Yeah, just
that's
Kairi.
Right. Kairi, not Sane, not Irving, just Kairi is back in Stardom.
Yeah, not signed to Stardom. She's just making a return to wrestling. She's wrestling there, so like she could be popping up all over the place, maybe. But yeah, she's making her wrestling return, which is super exciting. I believe starting with a tag match and then has a singles booked, I think. But yeah,
nice.
Totally gonna. I don't think I've unsubscribed Stardom, so definitely gonna be checking out those matches when they happen. Great to see Kairi again, because I know people were wondering whether she'd maybe kind of quietly retired from wrestling, because she had a couple of like bad bumps towards the end of her WWE career, and then kind of moved to do this WWE Japan thing. She was like the company ambassador over there in Japan or something. But yeah, she's back to wrestling, which is what we want to see her. We love Kairi at next. So yeah, super excited for that.
Yeah, we're super excited about Kairi. There's definitely a lot of the matches that you could go back to before she left for WWE. When we have kind of backtracked on the Stardom catalog, we've seen a lot of awesome stuff. And yeah, we liked her NXT run and WWE run, but I'm excited to see where we can go and see where she can go with the wrestling. But I liked the little vignette that they filmed. She was attacked, instantly getting beat up. So you're like, oh, you got to watch now. You got to see her get her revenge from being attacked on your re-debut or whatever. So yeah, I was pretty stoked to see that. I mean, it's a step further from getting away from the rematch of the century, which is Kairi versus Io, because now they're in separate places, but never say never in the world of pro wrestling.
But there's so many people there who who she hasn't fought, who I'd like to see. I mean, a match against Julia. Obviously, you've got Shuri, who's been tearing it up over there. Tam Nakano, Maya Iwatani. There's all these names who I think in the last year especially have really, I mean, they were on our lists in our shortlist for best match ever of 2021, a bunch of these talents. So can't wait to see Kairi mix it up with all of them, hopefully.
Yeah. Do you think she'll show up in like other American promotions? Because you said she's not signed. So what do you think she'll show up in? Isn't AEW they going to do that women's tournament?
I don't think there's anything stopping her doing the other other women's promotions over there or stuff. I mean, obviously travel is still a thing. I think a big reason with her wanting to go back to Japan is her husband's there. So don't know, but yeah, never say never. I'd love to see. To be honest, I prefer to see Kairi mix it up with talent over there, because I still think WWE has probably the best female roster in North America, and AEW, yeah, there's some exciting people, but honestly, I kind of want to see the matches in Japan more so than her just going and having some matches in AEW.
Kairi Sane versus Nick Gage. GCW death matches.
Who knows?
Pirate ships. Yeah, it's you never know. Someone you won't see in GCW, Drake Maverick, who's somehow got a job again in WWE. You hear about that?
What is he,
producing?
Producer?
Wow, he didn't even have to cry on video for this. He just got the job. I'm happy for him. Fuck, I wish he never got released. I think he is someone that shows you time and time again. He's like, he knows this stuff.
He's got a good creative mind, and I think a producing role is perfect for him. I mean, if the guy wants to wrestle, I'd love to see him wrestle again. But yeah, I think he's someone who you can tell just from his body of work, and even as you're saying, like his video the second time he got released, he's clearly talented creatively. So I think it's a good signing actually as a producer for Drake Maverick.
Yeah, no, I do too. I'm happy to see him still doing stuff. Like I do think I'm joking about the crying video, but it was a cool like angle that he worked into like a shoot, whatever, because he's going off and using social media and stuff. So yeah, if he's in a creative role, then hopefully he can help out some other people there. Because I had Monday night off and I was super hungover, family day Monday here in Ontario. So I watched Raw for the first time. I was like, all right, let's see if I kind of knew the Paul brother was going to show up, but which I do think is cool heat. But I loved Edge's promo for which I think is obviously AJ Styles at WrestleMania. And like, that sounds like a pretty big match that I think all of us wrestling fans are like, okay, if that's a direction we're going into. But if it's WrestleMania season, I'm trying to like get hyped. I watched just clips of the Elimination Chamber. It didn't really have my attention, but whatever this babyface Brock is definitely interesting. Cowboy,
it's
Brock
great.
Lesnar.
I watched some of Raw last night. Obviously, it's very late here, so I did kind of pass out through it. But yeah, Brock kicking off the show. He's so good in this character, and I think it's so weird seeing him in this role. And I think there's always been this, maybe a misconception, maybe some truth to it, but that Brock doesn't really care for wrestling. He's just doing it for the money, and he doesn't like people and all that. Well, he's either a fantastic actor or just loving his job right now, because he seems just in his element in this role, and it is quite fun to see. And I am someone who's kind of tired of the, like, I mean, I've personally seen Brock versus Roman a few times. Like, we've had it at Manias, we've had it at SummerSlams, we've had it in Saudi. But I think the way they both are right now and the way they've been booked, it does feel a big deal this time round. And I certainly think there's more interest in this Brock and Roman match than there has been in previous times, because both are kind of in their, almost like their final form, if you know what I mean. And both are kind of killing it with their characters, and different characters from how they've been presented in the past. So I wouldn't say it's the match I'm most looking forward to at WrestleMania, but I'm definitely enjoying Brock Lesnar at the moment. And I think like that he was pretty fun in the Elimination Chamber, just murdering Austin Theory with that F5 off the roof. But yeah, I think WrestleMania is shaping up quite nicely. I think watching WWE as just pay-per-view to pay-per-view is often a lot better than trying to watch the TV every week, because I do think they've got a good roster, and I think when they're given time and they're booked well, they can do pretty decent pay-per-views still. And WrestleMania definitely kind of Becky, Bianca properly having the match sounds pretty cool. Charlotte Ronda I'm somewhat interested in. Brock Roman, but as you said, Edge AJ, if that's the direction they go, that's a match I definitely want to see. And then you've got kind of are we doing KO Steve Austin? They definitely hinted at it again yesterday with the kind of trashing Texas from KO, and looking at his Twitter today, he was slagging off beer earlier. So they're either just being like playing into the rumors, which we saw them having some fun with the Cody tweets yesterday, or that's the direction they're going. But I would say I'm definitely more interested in this Mania than I have been in main roster stuff for a while. So they're doing something right, I guess.
Kevin Owens and Stone Cold just sounds weird. As someone who doesn't look, I love Steen, I love KO, but as someone who doesn't watch a lot of Raw or like the main roster stuff, when I see him do the stunner, it's just weird. It's not enough. That is like, is that the reason?
No,
now he hates Texas and beer.
They're the same character, pretty much. They're both blue collar, anti-establishment.
I don't know. There's a disconnect from me, and I'm just someone who'd like I checked back in, and I watched Steen, and I'm like, oh, okay, he's just a watered down version of like what he was before, kind of WWE. But I'm like, where's the connect to Stone Cold other than this? Now I've seen those tweets, and I've seen him. He said I hate Texas. that's how I'm like, cool, Austin's back. But I think I would have been a lot hyped if this was 10 years ago and Punk and him were having a match. I'm not, again, I feel like I'm knocking Steen. I am a fan of Steen.
Dude, he's been called Owens for like a decade now.
Yeah, sorry, Owens. I'm a fan. But it just seems like a bit weird. Like, is it just going to be Stone Cold versus him in like basically hits the stunner and pins him, or is he? Yeah, I don't know. But of course, you bring Stone Cold out in just any way, shape, or form at this stadium, then like people are going to go nuts. Like, of course they want to see that. So and of course now Undertaker with this Hall of Fame thing, I mean, that's pretty cool too. People are going to be so hyped in Texas to go to that. So good for them for making things people want to go to.
I think there's a lot you can do with Owens and Austin. Like, Owens is one of the best promos they've got in the whole company. So I think going back and forth with Austin would be great on the mic. There are definitely similarities with their character as well. And I think he's someone they trust. If you're having someone come out of retirement, have a match, I think Owens is a great guy. And I think he's someone who they're not necessarily putting in a title picture, but they want to give the big featured match to. Like, I'm pretty excited for it. It would just be interesting. I don't know what they're doing with Austin, like how it's been so odd because all these offers have kind of been there in the past. What has changed this year, to make him consider it? And it's still not
money. No.
Yeah, but that's been a case. Like, he's been offered Saudi money, like right. I don't know. It is interesting, and it's kind of one of those things I won't believe it until I see it. But the hints are very much there. But yeah, it's starting to be Mania season, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. Like, people were kind of down on the Rumble. I think when I got to see Bad Bunny and Rey Mysterio cross off, it made me like, I didn't mind that Rumble, especially when it was Brock. I think he F5 Bad Bunny. I was like, okay, like this is pretty cool. The Logan Paul, I called him Jake Paul because I literally don't know, even though I've watched the fights, I don't know the difference, but like, they're super popular and they're pretty much real life heels. So why wouldn't you pair it up? I think it's like a brilliant move. And Rey Mysterio is people who don't know wrestling know who he is just because he's like the most famous mask there is. So I do think that there is some build and interest. Of course, the match, sure, but it's more of like that's your celebrity thing. Celebrity to some people, but I genuinely am like, okay, they know what's current. At least they're figuring out. Because I mean, once they got Bad Bunny, it's like, that's probably one of the most biggest acts, even if you or someone didn't know who he was. Like, he brought a lot of eyes, and I think these Paul brothers are just the one. Again, he fits it. He fits like he's a pro wrestler. Like, he oozes the heelness in him.
And I think Miz is like the right partner for him completely.
For sure. They're both the Hollywood and all that stuff, and it makes sense. We will get into some NXT, but we do have some shows to promote because we did record some today on our Patreon this week. We have a retro NXT coming out, talking about July 31st, 2013, on an episode of Was Next, where me and you recorded today. It's Sasha Banks versus Charlotte. Yeah, I bet you didn't know that happened in a 3-minute squash match in 2013. We got Cesaro, Sami Zayn facing off in a tag match. That was pretty sweet. What else did we record? We recorded a different show today. Oh, a World Champ show behind the BDE. We haven't done one of those in a while, at least since you've traveled over. So that was good. We talked about Arthur growing up.
We're not going to tell you what we talked about. You're going to be a world champ to know what we talk about. That's why it's exclusive. Yeah.
And some bar fights and just some shenanigans. And then we did a show last week for Valentine's Day, and I'll bring this up because my Twitter is I've separated wrestling Twitter with just the oldest wrestling. I mean, I tweeted today because there was news about some Shawn Michaels thing. I heard in an interview. That's not here nor there, but I tweeted Bret Hart's better, and people are still tweeting at me, either agreeing with me or they send me really nasty messages just because I said I like Bret Hart. So wrestling Twitter never ceases to amaze me. But we did best match ever HBK for Valentine's Day last week, which was a lot of fun. But go check us out, patreon.com/upnext for all these shows. It's only $5 a month to access everything that we put out the month and in the back catalog.
We've got our Les Mis review coming up this week to round off in Up Yours with Chris Leone, talking some Les Mis, the film of the musical directed by Tom Hooper. So that should be pretty interesting. And yeah, we're building up our schedule for Best March Ever coming out next month. So keep your eyes, because we will be... February's one of those weird short ones. So we'll be coming up to a new month very soon. So subscribe March 1st to get the most out of your money. And we've got a whole new lineup coming up. But I did want to say, before we get into NXT, and we will very quickly, but I did actually see some live wrestling the last couple of days.
Oh, yeah, damn,
I kind of wanted to get into it before talking. I went to see the Progress show on Sunday, and kind of my first indie show since pre-pandemic, but first Progress show for 3 years as well. And I know there's been the whole kind of speaking out, plus kind of the NXT UK just raiding the British wrestling scene. But you know what? I thought it was a pretty good show, actually. I had quite a bit of fun. Got some last minute tickets because a friend's girlfriend tested positive for COVID, so couldn't go. So get well soon, Ellie, but I was lucky enough to be able to go. And yeah, got to see Jonathan Gresham.
What was the main?
So the semi-main was Jonathan Gresham defending the ROH title against Dean Allmark, who's kind of a bit of a veteran over here in the UK, and it was actually a pretty good technical match, as you'd expect from Gresham. Kind of ended a bit abruptly. I could have done with a few more minutes and a bit of a better finish, but I enjoyed that. And then the main was Cara Noir, who's the Progress champion. He's got the whole like Black Swan ballet gimmick, and pretty cool entrance. Taking on the artist formerly known as Isaiah Swerve Scott, Swerve the Realist, in the main event, which was
Swerve the Realist,
which was a cracking main event. And they kind of teased at the end a sort of title for title match coming up, I think for the 10th anniversary show. So Jonathan Gresham coming out at the end holding up his ROH title. But yeah, I enjoyed it. There was the opening match was a 4-way between like these up and comers who showed some promise. There was a pretty cool 3-way tag match in there, and then a women's Thunder Bastard, which is kind of, it's like Royal Rumble style, but you win by pinfall or submission to eliminate someone. And yeah, some kind of people there who kind of caught my eye, as well as sort of potential talent to look out for. I thought Kanji kind of impressed me. Never seen her before, but she was pretty cool. So yeah, it's certainly not where Progress was, like in the old days, like in the glory days where you had your Zack Sabre Juniors and Ospreys, etc. But you know, everything goes in waves, right? And kind of like with NXT 2.0, there's some good stuff and bad stuff, but it's kind of cool sometimes seeing where the next crop of talent are coming from. So yeah, I enjoyed it, and we'll hopefully try and catch some more wrestling while I'm over here.
Yeah, I heard that that match is the Cara Noir Gresham match is gonna be next month. Are you gonna go to it?
Yeah, there's kind of 2 shows within a week, so I need to work out which one I'm going to, because there's another ballroom show, and then there's one at the garage in Islington, which will be, I think, the 10th anniversary show. So I imagine they'll probably do it at the 10th anniversary show, but I don't know. But yeah, I definitely like to see that one.
I know that there has been some indie shows popping up back in Ontario since, again, restrictions here in Canada are kind of, or Ontario, Toronto, are lifting. And I know that there's I think it's Santino's thing in Mississauga, but your favorite Serena Deeb is coming for
nice.
a match. I'm not quite sure what the match is, but I saw that. So hopefully, like, I know Progress kind of had like a name, obviously, before the pandemic. Of course, it was pretty big, but hopefully, like, Canada can pick it up again. I know Toronto Smash had a super kick. They did some stuff, but it is good to see. Like, here I am talking about, like, hey, come to a bar and we're just going to watch wrestling. I feel like that's a good start to, like, going back to wrestling shows, and then after the shows you watch the pay-per-views or whatever, because that used to be the norm. So
yeah,
with things opening up, I am stoked, and I'm glad that you got to go to some wrestling. I bet it was weird, like, walking, you're just like, oh, this is like, you went to All In Chicago, and then we went to Grand Slam, and it's like going after so long of just not like going to wrestling was like, whoa.
Well, I was so front row for this as well, because my friend bought front row tickets, and
So are you on the network?
Yeah. Oh, you'll see me. Absolutely. I was all over their Instagram.
Yeah.
But was odd because I'm always, for indie events, I just get the cheapest tickets possible and sort of stand so I can go and nip and have a beer and kind of stand and watch it and things. But it was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Just I'm sat there and Swerve's just like walking past me, or whenever like a wrestler would fall to the floor, I'm like, come on, mate, you got this. Especially in like the tag matches or the multi-man where they, you know, just sleep on the outside for a bit until it's their part. I'm like, come on, mate, you can get up. You got this. They're like, yeah, I'm all right. I'm just chilling for a sec.
You're selling.
Yeah. So, no, it was good fun, and definitely looking forward to going to some more. And let me know if you're kind of in the area. I know we've got a bunch of UK listeners. If you're going to see any indie shows that you recommend, same goes in Toronto as well. If you're in the GTA and going to see anything, let us know, because we'd absolutely either love your reports or just maybe tag along last minute.
Hell yeah, 100%. Go to wrestling, go to fun, get lit. That's what it's all about. Should we talk about some NXT?
I think it's time. NXT 2.0, February 22nd, 2022. 22222. Happy Tuesday. Come Tuesday.
Tuesday.
And we open with Bron Breakker coming out. He says Vengeance Day was a tough fight and Santos Escobar is tough, but I proved that over my dead body, nobody is taking this title away from me. And WrestleMania weekend, NXT is finally going back on the road. We're going to Dallas for Stand and Deliver, and I promise I will walk in NXT champion, and I will walk out still NXT champion. And that's when he's interrupted by the main eventer of the evening, the show stealer, Dolph Ziggler, who comes out sporting his old shirt that I think it was just a week ago we were complimenting, weren't we?
We were. It wasn't exactly this one, but it was one similar, wasn't it?
No, he had two designs at the same time. He had the blue one and he had the pink one, the show-off one. And it was definitely the old pink. The old pink one.
It was pink. Yeah. I do love his old pink shirt. Shout out Ziggler.
And Ziggler says, congrats, you'll never forget your first. At least that's the advice I gave to Will Chamberlain. Who's Will Chamberlain?
Man,
probably some American sports thing. We don't care, guys. Don't tell us.
I'm assuming he's a basketball player.
Basketball,
but I'm gonna
baseball,
make sure.
something. And he goes,
let me make sure. Everyone's yelling at us. We're
you don't know who Will Chamberlain is? No, and I don't.
Yeah, basketball player. Cool. Yeah, sorry, basketball.
All right.
Yeah.
He says, I know I'm not the champ, but you can't be making promises you can't keep. Now, Stand and Deliver is a way away, and are you going to make it there as champ? I don't think so, because tonight I'm going to stomp out the last few breaths of Tommaso Ciampa, and maybe I pick you up and put you on my back and carry you to Stand and Deliver. Just know that when I decide that title is mine, it will be mine. And this is where Bron says, well, I owe you a receipt for kicking me last week, so how about you bring your ass to the ring right now and we'll fight? Dolph calls him a hothead and insults his Canadian tuxedo he's wearing, denim on denim. And he says, hey, they don't pay me to dress up, they pay me to fight. And Dolph again is kind of like shitting on NXT, how it's like, okay, you might be a big deal here in Orlando, in Florida, but when I walk in, I'm the biggest star. And I'm going to give you the night off tonight because you are barred from ringside. So there will be no cheap shots, no receipts. You get to sit in the back and watch me do what I do better than anyone in this business.
Steal the show.
Steal the show, yeah. I thought this opening was all right. I think it just once again showed that Braun, even though he's very new to this, completely holds his own in these sort of promo segments. He's just continuing to impress me every week.
Yeah, Braun definitely has that attitude, which we see here and we see even at the end of the show where he's always like yelling. He's like, he reminds me of, if you close your eyes, it's Scott Steiner. Yeah, 100% whenever he talks. But yeah, I mean, he kind of drops the bombshell that we kind of already knew about Stand and Deliver. But I liked how he's like getting the heat from the crowd here, like getting some cheers, because he's like, NXT is going back on the road. So people were like, oh, okay, we're listening. And then kind of mentioning the Stand and Deliver show, both of them kind of dancing around it, that you would assume that's the matchup is Dolph and them. But we know that the match later is the number one contender. But yeah, I didn't mind this at all. I thought it makes you go, okay, well, we're getting this match, which I would assume is at Stand and Deliver. But that's if he beats Ciampa, which I guess we can talk about afterwards. But yeah, I didn't mind it. And Ziggler always looks good. And I still just get Kurt Russell vibes from Ziggler ever since his NXT run here. But I was watching Ciampa's Raw. Was it his debut on Raw last, technically, in ring? It was kind of weird.
His read, I mean, he had those matches with Gargano a few years ago, didn't he?
Oh, right, Raw. Yeah. His Raw match was just okay. I feel like people still don't even know who he is, and he was just kind of thrown in there. But I was assuming after watching the match last night that we'd see another familiar face here in NXT tonight. And, well, yeah, that comes later.
Yeah, it is interesting, though, that they've definitely, since moving to 2.0, done more integration between the two, between Raw and NXT. And I don't think it's a bad idea if you're eventually bringing these people up. And it would be interesting to see, whereas in the past, when it was kind of Triple H's vision, you'd have these characters kind of built how he'd kind of see them and what he wants them to do. But then ultimately, when they go to the main roster, it's not what they want. Whereas I think now, because it's meant to be kind of more in the main roster, in the main roster's mold, I wonder if we see so many changes, kind of name changes and complete character overhauls. So it might be we get more integration and then we see the same kind of characters move up. We've already seen Grayson Waller, who did the last kind of couple of weeks on Raw. And now Ciampa's been on, he was on last week and this week. And it could also, you say maybe a bunch of the crowd don't know who he is, but they're starting to condition you. You know, he got the win yesterday in the tag, partnering with Finn Balor against like a very well established team there. So it could be that they start conditioning people a bit more. So eventually when they do make the jump, they're kind of embraced a bit more and there's not such a drastic change and disconnect. Be interesting to see.
The Twitch chat is letting us know that Wilt Chamberlain claims he's slept with over, which I have now checked Google, 2,000 women.
Cool.
Is what Wilt Chamberlain's.
So he's probably a virgin.
Well, he was a Harlem Globetrotter. I'm learning a lot here. Again, I'm a fake. I just wear a Raptors jersey because we won a few years ago. You know,
well, the Globetrotters aren't even NBA, are they? They're just
they're like
go around dancing with basketballs.
They do some pretty cool stuff though. They do.
Virgin.
They do.
Sounds like a virgin to me.
Pretty sure.
People who have lots of sex don't show off about having lots of sex. Like,
what did Ric Flair say? Did he say 2,000?
Yeah, fucking virgin as well, Ric Flair.
2,000. Jeez, that's a lot. But yeah, Globetrotter. And do you think this, because they both mentioned like Stand and Deliver, Ziggler and Braun, but do you think that they could happen before that?
Yeah, because they teased the rubber match as well today between Braun and Ciampa later on in the match. So I wonder if this is maybe a TV thing, and then you get Ciampa versus Braun again at Stand and Deliver, maybe. Or maybe they'll see kind of when tickets go on sale, kind of how much they sell, and if they feel they need a bit more main roster integration, or whether they can rely on their just their NXT people. I don't know.
Man, we need to stop throwing shade at Wilt Chamberlain, because the Twitch chat's reminding us that he also played for the Lakers and scored 100 points in one game. Damn.
All right. Well,
we're still throwing shade.
What's he done recently? What's he done for me recently?
He's passed away, so there's also that. Not having
sex anymore, is he?
He passed away in 1999. This is where I have to say I made a mistake of saying Gene LaBelle passed away on a show last week, when in fact he is still alive. So you can never really trust what I say sometimes.
Are you sure Wilt Chamberlain passed away?
Wikipedia tells me, so it has to be true.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we go to our first match of the night. It's Grayson Waller with Sanger in his corner taking on LA Knight. As they come into the ring, they're plugging Corey and Carmella, which is going to be a new reality YouTube show, which I'm sure you'll be all over, Braden.
Yeah. Do you think they have sex?
Again, they talk about it a lot.
I'm pretty sure they show dildos in the ad.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Check out Shot in the Dark for free on this very feed every Wednesday. I'm sure John Cena will be covering
Yeah,
this.
I swear we'll get into wrestling, but Shot in the Dark, I mean, it was a show that started where Cena records, and it's on the free feed here, where in 15 minutes he covers Dark Elevation from AEW. He did 205 Live, which is now Level Up, so he will be watching Level Up. But I told him the news that I think it would be for the best interest of all our listeners if Cena also covered Control Your Narrative and Corey and Carmella. So I think we should all go tweet John Cena and tell him if you are interested in his thoughts, because he'll add it to his weekly watch list, no problem.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
you know he's going to be watching it anyway, so
yeah, he's going to.
He might as well talk about it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But let's get to the match. Waller is just playing the chicken shit heel. He's bailing to the outside immediately. Knight finally catches him with the clothesline and his slingshot shoulder tackle, and then crotches Waller on the top rope, and he starts bouncing him around as we go to a commercial break. After the break, we see Waller come back by throwing Knight into the steel steps. They kind of try to like play it as if Sanger distracted LA Knight and then Waller took the advantage, but Sanger literally was just standing there doing nothing. So I don't know. It was kind of LA Knight's fault here if he was distracted by this. Waller then hits his second rope elbow drop for a 2 count and then follows up with a big spine buster. He then goes to the outside, runs up the ramp, and goes for his big run-up roll-through stunner, but gets hit with a sidewalk slam by LA Knight, who's now firing back with clotheslines and backdrops, hits his leaping neck breaker. He goes for the BFT, but Sanger reaches out and holds Waller's arm to protect him, which means Knight can't drop him. Waller catches him with a roll-up, 1, 2, 3, and picks up the cheeky win here. And after the match, LA Knight's pissed and he decks Grayson Waller, hits the BFT to Sanger and the BFT to Waller. And as he's walking up the ramp, he's yelling that he is the last man standing. So I assume we might be getting a last man standing match coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Wow. Yeah, I guess that would be the direction. These two have been feuding for quite a while. It's been months.
Yeah.
Like, what, Halloween?
Halloween
yeah,
Havoc,
something like that. So, Waller is still someone that I'm not like super into, but I do like that. You know, he's got a pretty good heel persona going for him. That's very like unlikable. He would fit in with the Paul brothers and Miz and stuff. And I do love his going back to basketball, I guess his elbow drop where he goes through the legs kind of thing. It was very impressive off the cage in War Games, but it looked cool here as well. He's fine. I feel like they're now in, like, I think he's got to beat LA Knight and send LA Knight needs to like go to the main roster or something. He feels like such a main roster act that probably could get over. I think, but I don't know. And Sanga is just kind of there, but it didn't do too much for me. But if you are kind of teasing the last man standing, I think that actually could be pretty good.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a better match in there. I hate kind of the roll up finishes and grabbing the tights and stuff. But LA Knight every week is getting more and more over with this crowd, and I think you're right. I think a main roster audience could like him. It's just whether they just want to keep him there to be like a veteran to help these younger kids. I don't know. But you say like the kind of Logan Paul thing with Waller, I completely see that and could totally see him in that sort of Miz role moving forwards, doing a lot of kind of celebrity integration and that kind of thing. But we need to end this feud now, so let's get the last man standing match and have both move on to whatever's next, because it's been going on.
Yeah, it's
forever.
almost unfortunate you've already had. Yeah, if you've already had Sanga, this is where you would have debuted him to like do the lift up spot where he like lifts up Waller to get up from the 10 count and LA Knight gets counted out, or you still just do that thing. But yeah,
put him in a shark cage.
Sanga?
Yeah,
in a shark cage. Jeez, right. I don't know. I watched Raw for the first time. I finally saw that one of those promos for Veer, and I'm super excited. Does that mean he shows up next week? Because it said he's coming soon, so I assume he's showing up next week, right? Have they aired one of those before? Tell me the truth.
Well, I mean, they're promoting that Brock Lesnar Lashley match for Madison Square Garden, which is very unlikely to happen. So if Heyman's going to find a suitable replacement, maybe, send Veer. Yeah, you seem very excited about that. Anyway, we go backstage to see Dakota Kai, who's looking around and finds Wendy Chu sleeping. And Dakota says, "We're in the Dusty Cup and you didn't even tell me?" Wendy Chu apologizes and says, "Look, I'm asleep. If I don't get my midday nap, I don't look this good. And I'm sorry I didn't tell you, but I did tell your friend." She's like, "What friend?" I'm like, the friend you're always talking to. And Dakota says, "Well, my track record with friends isn't great." Wendy Chu says, "Well, you have had now you haven't had me as a partner, so maybe your luck's going to change." And Chu walks off when Dakota's talking to her invisible friend, saying, "She chose us. She chose me. Maybe this will work out. Third time's a charm." So kind of Dakota playing up that the reason why her previous friendships, her previous partners haven't worked is maybe this other voice in her head. We were saying last week, kind of Gollum Schmeagol thing. It's the other voice kind of turning on these people. So with Wendy Chu acknowledging the other person, maybe she's embracing the two sides of Dakota, and maybe this partnership will work. But this is stupid.
Oh, it's so bad. It's almost like Venom, the movie Venom. Like, and I didn't like that movie either. So maybe that's why I'm not liking this gimmick. I love Dakota Kai, and broken record every time we've been seeing this weird gimmick thing, but she can hold her own when it comes to the wrestling and character work until she got this character. And now I'm just like, why are we doing this? Let's not do this. I don't know what the deal is, why she hasn't been on the main roster already at this point. I know there was some talks for her on main roster or main event or whatever a while ago, but now she's just doing this. It's like, that sucks, because there's so much more to her than this. And I really, I literally groan when she's like doing the talking to herself. I'm like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
And then you see the sleeping character. So it's like, what's going on? The sleepy girl made me more like, perked me up more, because I'm like, okay, well, here's something else. So are they going to be a team?
They're a team in the Dusty Classic. Yeah. It feels like they're trying to make her kind of a baby face at this point, but this isn't working. And are they just keeping her here to kind of be with the more like newer green talent to have a good pair of hands there? I don't know, but they're featuring her every week, so it's not like she's completely disappeared, but it is very odd, this whole Dakota Kai thing going on. Talking of the Dusty Classic, we go to Cora Jade and Raquel Gonzalez. Cora says, "We've been training your way, so now we're going to train my way." And she's taken Raquel to the Tree Trek Adventure Park, which is one of these like places, you know, you're all harnessed up and you're leaping off of trees and you're climbing around. And we learn that Raquel Gonzalez is afraid of heights. She says, I catch people falling from heights. I don't jump from heights. So Cora's like, well, that's something we've got to master. Like, you've got the strength, but you need to learn how to be fearless. So they're doing these zip wires and stuff. And wouldn't you know it, Raquel Gonzalez conquers her fear. And they're now going to do this to win the Dusty Classic and beat Toxic Attraction. And yeah, so more training vignettes from these two.
Are you as afraid of heights as Raquel? Like, could you do this? Have you done a tree trek?
I've done this kind of thing before. Yeah. I mean, heights are scary, but I do enjoy a zip wire. It's one of those things. It's before you take off. That's the scariest bit. As soon as you jump off, it's pretty fun.
Yeah. I don't think I could do that. I've done that, but I can't do like jumping out of a plane. Like, I know I have a parachute, but like, no.
I used to think I'd want to do that, and the older I am, the more the more I don't want to do that at all. Yeah.
I thought I would hate this, but I'm like, okay, I do want to see them as a team and stuff. I think Cora Jade is definitely someone who's like, obviously we've seen her impress us all, especially in that War Games match, but I think she's a good mix, especially at such a young age, of just a good mix of actual wrestling, but actually like kind of maybe like using this character, and it has nothing to do with the skater thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's just her being like a young, like I don't know, just a wrestler. Like, I know this had nothing to do with wrestling because they're like in the tree top stuff, but it is to set them up as a team. And there was a specific line that made me go, that was funny. And it was, she's like, oh, Raquel's scared of heights. And she goes, heights, you are the height. Like, look at you. You're huge. What are you talking about? And she's like, I like throwing people around. I don't like doing it myself. And I'm like, all right, I could get into this team, I think, and see where it goes.
Yeah, I agree. I think Cora comes across quite naturally, and she's obviously like very young. And I think kind of moving away from the skateboard, which just feels like they've sort of try to make her this kid, when she's just doing stuff like this, it's like, yeah, you're a young early 20s girl, and I thought she seemed very natural here, actually.
Yeah.
And I can definitely see her getting, I see on Twitter, like there's a lot of kind of like young people do seem to like her, so I think there's definitely potential with her, and she has impressed in the ring as well, so yeah. I'm looking forward to this team. We go to the Toxic Lounge. This is some like couch on the perch almost. Mackenzie Mitchell with Toxic Attraction, and they're kind of mocking Cora and Raquel, saying how adorable they are. Gigi says, where are they going to go next? The skate park, the motorcycle rally. Well, I have a feeling they're going to come up short. Mackenzie asks how they feel about Kaylee Ray and Io Shirai. And Mandy says, I give them credit for realizing they won't come anywhere near the NXT Women's Championship while I'm champion, so they've gone for other titles. But if they think they can win this whole thing and beat Gigi and JC, they're dumber than they look. Toxic Lounge. Is this something we're going to see a bit more of?
Yeah, the Toxic Lounge, where they're all just hanging out, and then Mackenzie comes over and just asks them a few questions. She should have asked Gigi where her shirt was, because she was just not wearing one for this segment. It's they're again pushing this like, we're hot and now we hang out in the crowd with champagne or drinks and stuff. Sure, whatever. It's them being heels, but it's still definitely they're really pushing this Toxic Attraction. Yeah.
You know,
Toxic Lounge.
You know what though? I kind of take this over them being on commentary. Like when you're trying to get an excuse to have them out there to interfere or whatever, I'd kind of take this thing where they're just chilling. It's almost like their private booth where they sip champagne and watch.
I would like to see them take it to, like, if you're gonna go this route, take it to like the next level, like WWE-ify it. Almost like, remember in AEW when can't believe I'm bringing up Peter Avalon.
That's what I got from this. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's like he's chilling on his bed, and like the first time you saw him on the bed, you're like, that's funny. But like Toxic Attraction should be on a heart-shaped bed. They should have like Chippendale dudes coming over, topping their champagne and feeding them grapes, and they're talking trash. And you'll have like some of the roster come through, and then them like denying them or whatever. But here is just they're just in the crowd in this thing. But baby steps. This is the first Toxic Lounge, but great name for a club.
The Toxic Lounge. Yeah. It could
like
be it could be a set like the VIP area for Kayfabe Bar when we eventually open it.
That's right. Yeah, the Toxic Lounge
in the back. Yeah.
Yeah, at your British live watch along, you have a section where it's just you and the crew. Call it the Toxic Lounge, and then here in Toronto at mine, I'll have a Toxic Lounge. We'll have our own Toxic Lounge.
Shall I just take my own ropes and things and just take some pillows?
Excuse me, this is my area. Red pillows. Yeah. I've always wanted a red heart-shaped
velvet pillow
bed and pillow, or just the hot tub. Looks great. Yeah. They need to shoot vignettes in hot tubs. Yeah.
We go to Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray versus Lash Legend and Amari Miller. Am I right in thinking this is Lash Legend's NXT debut? I know she's had some matches on 205, but I think this is her NXT debut.
What? Really? No, have we not seen her wrestle? I feel like I've seen her wrestle.
We've only seen Lashing Out. Yeah, I know we watched her. She had a 205 match with Saray, I remember, and a few matches there, but I can't think of her having an NXT match. Well,
I think you might be right, because I do recall that she's wrestled on 205 Live, RIP 205 Live, but I can't recall her ever wrestling on NXT. No, and we haven't seen Lashing Out in quite a long time.
A long time, yeah. We get a Rana and the Tiger Feint kick from Io to Lash Legend, and then Io goes to the top rope and kind of falls off, and Legend follows up with some strikes to her. Io comes back with the missile drop kick. Amari Miller makes the tag. Io does her Matrix escape, and she does it where she sort of goes on her hands in almost the backwards crab, like Bray Wyatt position. And Amari just sweeps the hand away. Miller then catches Kaylee Ray, who's been tagged in, with the spinning heel kick. We get a big pump kick from Legend, but Ray comes back with the super kick, followed by the KLR bomb, and then hits a second rope moonsault, which Vic noted didn't get all of that. And then the top rope moonsault from Io to, I believe, Lash Legend here for the win.
Yeah, it seemed pretty quick, and I guess we've seen Amari just be used as enhancement talent, but I guess that's where kind of Lash Legend is now as well. I mean, I didn't even realize that this was the first time on NXT, but yeah, I like the pairing of Io and Kaylee Ray, and I think we kind of figured they would be going forward. I'd say it's either between this team and Raquel and Cora that probably are the, like, what other team? I don't even know what other teams are in this, and they're already saying it's ending in a few weeks when this is like the first. It just doesn't seem that built up when you're just, hey, here's no entrances for these two enhancement talent, Amari and Lash Legend, and then Io and Kaylee Ray like beat them pretty quickly. So the men's side seemed to have a bit more, like they had some video packages, and here it seems like they're just doing it to do it. And that's how I felt about the NXT women's tag titles. It's like ever since they've had them here, they've just been chilling and not really like, yeah, Toxic Attraction, whatever, but just feels like not heavily focused on. But I guess it's just the first week.
It's more giving the women something to do rather than the men's. It's like usually a tournament I really look forward to because you've got some really strong tag teams in the division. I think when we get to our later rounds, maybe like I can imagine Io and Kaylee Ray versus, I'll have to look at the way the brackets are, but against Kacy and Kayden could be pretty good. I think in the latter rounds we'll get some stronger matches here. But yeah, this, I don't really think you wanted this to be much longer than this, to be honest. I know we normally complain about the short match times, but I don't think I'd wanted to see much more than this. I don't think anyone really saw Lash Legend or Amari Miller winning. I thought Io and Kaylee Ray looked a little sloppy, which isn't like them. Like there were a few fumbles in this match. Legend clearly she's got quite a bit of height on her, and when she was doing a couple of her kicks and things, I think looked kind of impressive just because of how tall she is and those long legs. But she is very, very new to this and very green. Amari Miller's a little better, but yeah, I didn't think this was great, really.
Yeah, I didn't care for it too much, but I guess we'll see some bigger matchups between bigger teams down the line with this tournament.
We go to Dante Chen backstage, who says, Duke Hudson thinks he's a big shot when he attacked me the other week. He talked a big game a few weeks ago. And he says, even when he knew I had a family emergency, he still attacked me or whatever. And I'm like, oh, man, that was mean. He says, last week was Vengeance Day, but I'll have my vengeance today. And it will be hard sweeping Persia off her feet when I take out his legs.
Damn.
Yeah, Dante Chen mad at Duke for attacking him the other week. He didn't sound too good here, did he?
No, I wanted to give this guy a chance every time we've seen him in little flashes. I'm like, okay, he's a pretty good wrestler from what we've seen, but I think maybe this didn't work too well for me. But I was kind of like, okay, well, if that's how you sound, then I want to see you back up your words. I want you to see you take out Duke, and that didn't really help either. So he kind of sounded like a geek, I guess. Yeah.
We go to the main event of the evening, Briggs and Jensen. And we've got Briggs, who I thought with his backwards hat kind of covering his hair today looked rather like you. Had a similar smile, similar beard.
I always write Brooks and Jensen. Is that his name? Brooks Jensen?
Brooks Jensen
is one guy's name.
Captain Friendzone. Yeah.
Yeah. Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs.
Yeah. Briggs says,
JB.
you're in the zone and we're going to have to help you get back on the horse. And Briggs, who's been living under a rock for the last decade, I think, says, we're going to film you for one of those dating apps. And so he sets up the camera and starts filming Briggs, who's in a Von Erichs t-shirt here.
Yeah, great shirt.
He keeps on wearing these like throwback wrestling shirts, doesn't he? Like Southern, like Texas wrestling wrestlers.
Well, we've talked about, who's his dad again?
Bull Buchanan.
Yeah, Bull Buchanan. I don't know what that has to do with
classic
that,
Southern legend, Bull Buchanan. Yeah. So,
sorry.
First attempt, Jensen goes, hi, I'm Briggs. So even he gets his name wrong.
He says the wrong name.
I wouldn't feel so bad about it. So Josh Briggs is like, no, man, your name's Brooks Jensen. And he's like, oh, yeah. And then he's like, hi, I'm Brooks Jensen. And he's like, no, why are you yelling? And then they start yelling at each other, and it's hilarious. It's wonderful stuff.
Wow. I mean, if you've listened to the show, we tell you the matches you should always check out, but we always tell you the promos and big things that happen on the show that you should check out and cherry pick of NXT 2.0. And these are definitely, you can't miss anything with Brooks and Jensen. Since the original steak grilling promo vignette thing, we have just been fascinated with these two. And they just keep piling it on. Like Lash Legend here, they went, that's kind of not working. Let's just pretend it never fucking happened. Whereas these guys are like, nope, we're going to push, we're going to keep doing this. And it just they keep digging it. They keep going at it. And it was them being Southern boys. And then they're with Kacy and Kayden at the concerts and the rave thing, the country boots and hearts thing. And then now he's hitting on Kayden. And then now oh man. I mean,
I'm totally in.
Yeah, it's so bad it's good. Again, it's
and I
so
feel
bad
for
it's
Briggs.
good.
Yeah, sorry, Jensen. Being in the friend zone. We'll be talking more about the friend zone in our Les Mis review coming up later in the week. But something I'm
friend
sure.
Zoning?
Oh, there's a lot of friend zoning. Yeah,
like these guys should change the name of their tag team to the Zone. Like, yo, not now, Chief. I'm in the fucking zone.
Yeah,
I'm in the zone. I like, again, I hate these guys so much now that I love these guys. They've completely given me a 180.
Yeah.
But it is 2022. We have talked about swiping left and all this stuff. So why are we
Well, I
talking
thought that
about-
now, but we'll get to the vignette later, and it does kind of make sense. But I was like, because this was like, this you can tell Bruce Pritchard is writing this because this is what he thinks dating apps is. But they do kind of pay that off a bit later on.
Right. I mean, do you have any advice for people who are stuck in the friend zone?
You got to decide. You got to decide. Is it worth losing them as a friend? I think that's the thing you've got to weigh up, and that's what makes being in the friend zone so hard.
Or being in the friend zone, you got to decide: is it worth losing the 24/7 title over?
Yeah, it's true. Right? It's true.
Yeah. Well, more on the zone later.
We go to Duke Hudson versus Dante Chen. Duke's hair is completely grown back now. You wouldn't know he had a hair versus hair a few weeks ago. Dante attacks Duke during his entrance. He hits a big splash in the corner, followed by a DDT for a 2 count. But Hudson comes back with a big boot, followed by the Razor's Edge. And he almost like... Razor's Edge, we often see like Ethan Page does it where he like launches them, whereas he comes crashing down with them. I thought it looked actually really good.
Yeah. Oh no, actually, yeah. This Razor's Edge is sweet. He like drops power. He power bombs you with it.
Yeah.
But it looks good.
And Duke picks up the win here. So yeah, you kind of wanted to see Dante get his revenge here, but he just looked like a bit of a geek here. But Duke, yeah, there's definitely I like that Razor's Edge. I think there's definitely I can see an upside to this guy, but maybe it hasn't been fully realized quite yet.
Yeah, we'll see.
At
least he's not playing poker anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
He's playing with people's lives.
He is
instead.
People's hearts. We have a vignette for Black History Month. We see Booker T visiting a school in Oak Cliff, Dallas, which is like an underserved like community in Dallas that they've set up a community center for the kids, and Booker T's there doing some pretty nice stuff there. So always nice, these Black History Month videos. All the times you see like Connor's Cure and all these kind of stuff, I think WWE do pretty well.
Do you think?
Sorry, go.
If you were Booker T, would you have that song by Bad Bunny as like your own ringtone, like the Booker T, like Booker T? I bet you it's his ringtone.
I mean, I haven't had a ringtone for about... We were saying, like...
But if you're Booker T...
Videos for dating apps. I'd have it maybe as my alarm to wake up. I think that would get you hyped. Fair. You'd feel a big deal. If waking up in the morning kind of sucks, if you realize there's like a hit song made about for you, I think that would give you like... some BDE in the morning, right?
Every day you're in the shower just listening to a song about you. Yeah, that'd be great. Booker T. He just stands there. Yeah.
We get Carmelo and Hayes and Trick Williams, who are celebrating last week's big win against Cameron Grimes. Melo says, "When I shoot, I don't freaking miss. And tonight is a Melobration. Last week, I said I'll have the match of the night, and I did. I said I'd beat Cameron Grimes and steal the show, and I did. I really don't miss, and I tell you that to tell you this. I put on the performance of a lifetime. No one last week was talking about Braun, Pete Dunne, or the Creed brothers. They were talking about the A champion, and the A stands for absolute best. No one can touch me in the ring, on the mic, or on the Bird app." So a little reference to his kind of Twitter beef with Max Caster this week.
Yeah. He does the same like hand signal last week. So the A thing, and then Max Caster from the Acclaimed on AEW tweeted out like, "Oh, see, everybody loves the Acclaimed," and Melo responded with, "Sorry, I didn't know that was your thing. I don't watch the YouTube show." And well, Twitter, he got him. He got him. He got him that one. A champ for sure, showing everybody's favorite Max Caster. A little bit of some heat there on the Bird app, as he says, but yeah.
Pete Dunne interrupts and says, "What are you on about? You say you've beaten everyone, but you haven't beaten me. You say you're the A champion, and I don't think the absolute best would be sat on the sidelines at WrestleMania weekend. You say you're the absolute best, then prove it. Next week, the A champ versus the Bruiserweight." Trick Williams interrupts and says, no, that ain't happening, and calls him Skeet Dunne.
Which I don't know if you've been following the Kanye West saga.
The Kanye meltdown.
On social media over the past few weeks or days. And well, I mean, Kim Kardashian, Kanye's ex-wife, is in a relationship with Pete Davidson, but Kanye on social media has been calling him Skeet Davidson. So I was as soon as Pete Dunne came out, I was like, Carmelo's going to call him Skeet Davidson. I literally wrote it down before he even did it. And it made me laugh when he did say that. But yeah, Skeet.
Then Trick says, Melo says, look, I don't back down from a challenge. And Trick says he's going to beat you just like he beat Cameron Grimes. When Cameron Grimes attacks both Trick and Melo from behind. And this sets up our match, which is taking place after the commercial break. Cameron Grimes versus Trick Williams here. But yeah, we've set up, it's been confirmed for next week, Melo versus Pete Dunne. I thought it might be something that we'll see at Stand and Deliver. But maybe we're going for a 3-way instead?
At the pay-per-view?
Yeah.
Or the premium live event or whatever. Yeah. I would have assumed it was Pete Dunne versus Carmelo, but then yeah, they're saying that's happening next week, and Grimes is still involved. It's either a triple threat, or maybe they add even more people to that. Maybe they make it like a 6-man North American ladder match.
Ladder match, yeah,
like how they did the first North American title. So like you could do something like that, which I wouldn't mind. But I do want to see Melo, Pete. I do want to see Grimes again. I do think. Melo was right. I mean, me and you both said last week that, hey, we were going into that thinking Creed and MSK were going to steal the show. And don't get us wrong, they had a great match, but we were praising Carmelo Grimes just a bit more. And he is owning this character. I definitely am super into Melo, and even Trick with the little spots in and kind of being his hype man. Is definitely hitting for me now. Even like the first line had my attention, where it's like, oh, it's a Melobration. I was like, he's using puns. This guy's great. And that tweet thing with Matt Caster, I did happen to see this week, and I was like, wow, he got him. But I think I'm pretty interested in any. I thought for a second they'd unify. I thought the match would be Braun and Carmelo and unify those titles as well. The way things are going with everyone unifying title v title, this and all that, But yeah, Skeet Davidson was definitely the highlight of this show. I could not get over how he got away with that again. But yeah, and I noticed, like, again, Kanye, the Netflix doc part 1 came out, and I watched it last night. It was just incredible. But go check that out if you're a Kanye fan.
We go to Grimes versus Trick Williams. Grimes wiggles his butt and tells Trick to kiss his grits. Trick comes back with a clothesline, stomps, a scoop slam, and a drop kick. Trick has these like really kind of long legs, so some of his kicks actually look pretty nice. He hit a nice looking spinning heel kick for a 2 count, and then but keeps going to this like chin lock, almost like the money clip where he's hooking the arm, but not quite. Grimes,
not quite Okada.
Not quite, no. Grimes starts to fire back, but gets caught with a big pump kick by Trick, but comes back with his huge spinning side effect, but Williams kicks out. Grimes then goes for the cave-in, but Williams rolls to the outside. So Grimes goes for the cave-in on the floor, but Trick dodges, and then Melo tells him to go get him, and well, Trick turns right around into a super kick on the outside. Grimes rolls Trick into the ring and goes for his kind of standard like high cross off the top. But Grimes kind of turns a little bit too late and just eats a knee in the face here. Looked kind of nasty, and you saw the ref checking on him. And then Grimes follows up with the cave-in to pin Trick Williams 1, 2, 3. So, yeah, kind of rehabbing Grimes after that loss last week, and he's definitely still featured in this storyline with Grimes and Trick. But we haven't seen a great deal of Trick actually in ring. What did you make here?
Yeah, I swear we've seen him before, and he kind of did similar moves. Like you said, it's like a spin heel kick, but he doesn't like jump when he does. It's like standing because he does really have really long legs and like kicks a guy in the head. He didn't necessarily look bad to me in any way, shape, or form. But that cross body off the top, we've seen Grimes do it a million times, and it was also almost like Trick was supposed to turn around but didn't. But Grimes had already jumped or something, so I think that's why the knee hit him in the head there. But it was fine and kind of gives Grimes a bit of his heat back in this feud that seems to have different people in different pieces. But I wouldn't be shocked if we get the triple threat or some sort of other people added to it to make a multi-man for the stand and deliver. But yeah,
I thought Trick looked better here, and it's always something you can, when the title eventually comes off Mello, you could look at a sort of tag run with these two, perhaps. But this was all right.
The title ain't ever coming off him, fam. What are you talking about?
Unify them all.
Yeah, I'm definitely in the fan group here where I'm seeing a lot of people are getting behind Carmelo, and I'm like, man, I definitely see it. I see a lot of things for this guy in the WWE.
Absolutely. We go back to Briggs and Jensen trying to record his dating videos. Well, his first attempt is, do you live in a cornfield? 'Cause I'm stalking you.
Oh.
Then he goes, hi, I'm a Leo. Row. If you were a Transformer, you'd be Optimus. Fine. And then he's like, what are Transformers? Just showing his age there. This Brooks Jensen.
I don't know if it's showing his age. I mean, he doesn't know what dating really is. He doesn't know dating apps. He didn't even know what dating videos were, and he doesn't know what Transformers are. I don't know if he knows anything other than Von Erich wrestling and tractors
and Kayden Carter.
And Kayden Carter. Like, is Kayden Carter just the first woman he's ever met
seen
outside of his farm town or something? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, again, it's cheesy lines. I love these guys.
He goes on to say, all right, well, I like guys. I like girls and I like guys. No, wait, not like that. Like, not that that's wrong. Not that liking guys is wrong. Just I like girls. I actually like this one girl called Kayden. And, well, Kayden, she's so nice. And he gets all kind of goofy and then realizes this isn't probably the best thing to do on a dating app. And just says, Briggs, please stop recording. Bless this guy. Bless this guy's heart. He's trying, but so fun.
I won't bless the guy or person who wrote some of these jokes.
You don't like, do you live in a cornfield? Because I'm stalking you.
No, I didn't like that one. I didn't like the stuff afterwards either. But not my favorite one in the series.
In the trilogy of videos tonight.
The trilogy of Brooks Jensen. Fuck, man.
Yeah.
But you feel for I mean, it's like when you are on Tinder or Bumble or whatever, and you see someone's profile bio says, I miss my ex. Or like you finally go on a date with someone who just gets drunk and wants to talk about their ex. You know, This feels like that's what he's going through. You laugh like you can relate. Poor guy. We feel for this guy. You know, they're trying something.
We do.
They really are. Yeah.
We go to Ciampa, who's backstage lifting weights, looking ripped.
He's insane. He's insanely jacked.
Yeah,
I know it looked like
shredded.
he like dyed his beard a little bit for Raw or main roster run, maybe possibly, but he's always looked jacked, but he's like crazy. He's been hanging out with Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel.
You look at him compared to like Cruiserweight Classic Ciampa or the original Dusty Classic. Yeah, it's incredible the shape this guy's in.
Crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
Braun Breaker comes into the locker room and says, I'll be out there watching the match. And Ciampa says, look, the way I see it is it's Ciampa 1, Breaker 1, but I need to know who the better man is. Braun says, I look forward to the rubber match. Now, I remember when they set up the second match, the match that Breaker won, Ciampa said, you won War Games, I won the singles match. Here's the rubber match, but we're talking about singles. But yeah, kind of teasing teasing the idea that we might go back to this at some point. So I could definitely see them revisiting this before maybe Ciampa eventually moves up, having some kind of big blow off, maybe stipulation match or 2 out of 3 falls. We know that's kind of the usual kind of climax in NXT. Maybe that's something we get with these two, and potentially for Stand and Deliver if the Dolph Ziggler match is before then.
That's if he loses tonight,
This is true.
The third rubber match. Yeah, it's weird. Again, I did watch Raw last night, and then I did notice Ciampa on it, and I was like, definitely not how I imagined him kind of being portrayed. But I guess, I don't know. I just don't know. Like, is he going to be in the 24/7 title picture by the end of the year? Like, is that what's going to happen with this guy? I don't know. I do think he's a good wrestler, but I'm just clearly some people don't see some things in him. But
well, no, I don't.
I like
that wasn't really like a Raw debut. That wasn't kind of debut. That was more promotion for NXT, right? Like it's furthering the feud with Dolph Ziggler more so than this is how he's going to be presented on Raw, is the way I saw it. But he keeps on saying NXT's his home. He's there forever. Yeah. So who knows?
Forever.
We get Chase University. It starts off with a bit of almost like a prospectus commercial for the university with shots of this make-believe place. And then we have Andre Chase in the classroom, and he says, I'm going to say a phrase that was first stated in 1913, intestinal fortitude. And someone goes, well, what does that mean? He goes, it means to have a set of balls, Michael, you dumbass. And that brings me to Von Wagner. I called him out, but Robert Stone said it would be on his time. That shows he has no intestinal fortitude. It shows he has no balls. And another member of the class points out, look, Von is pretty big. What will you do to him? And he says, what the fuck do you think I'll do to him? I'll fuck him up. And Bodie is there in the classroom, stands up and goes, yeah, you will. Damn right I will, Bodie. And that's a teachable moment.
Yeah. He's been funny whenever he swears and they censor it and he just goes off. So he's about to get fed to Von Wagner.
Yeah. In this kind of new improved Von Wagner. They're going.
I love how they go, hey, we're going to show you what Chase University looks like, and it's like stock footage of just kids walking on a campus somewhere.
I found it quite funny.
It's totally not, because he's just in the closet at the PC where they're filming this. But then it's like, here he is at this. It's like an SNL sketch when they show you a stock image of something and then go, now we take you to the.
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
That. Yeah.
Yeah, these are all right. I don't think he's great, but I do get a kick whenever he's sort of swearing. Says, what the fuck do you think I'll do? I'll fuck him up.
I mean, considering how he talks trash to Von Wagner and how Von is going to respond later, is like, this guy sounds a lot more exciting and scarier than how Von is.
We go to the debut of Nikita Lyons. She'll be taking on Kayla Inlay, who we saw in a match was it last week or 2 weeks ago?
Inlay.
Yeah.
Ex-nay the Inlay.
And as Nikita's song was kind of cool. It's got like Lions roars in it, and I noticed she was sort of singing along.
I'm assuming it's her doing her own theme song because she's the music.
I would think so, yeah.
Right. I like how or is it like a Jeff Jarrett kind of thing where it turns out it's going to be one of her roadies that are that would be. She's got like so her name is Nikita Lyons, and her thing in the promos was all about how she likes to roar. I like how she's got everything from like the roar in the song, but her pose, did you notice? It's like Dark Order, but it's the double, so it's like the roar. Like she does the pose like a lion. I'm like, I
guess her hair is kind of like a mane as well, isn't it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
How would you explain her gear? It's like
a bodysuit almost.
It's like a bodysuit, but like almost like she's in a like action movie or something. I don't want to say like Mortal Kombat, but it's like it's around that way.
Yeah, it's that kind of vibe. I see that.
Yeah.
Well, it starts off with a bunch of wrist locks and hammer locks and headlocks from Nikita Lyons. Kayla comes back and gives her a slap and then just gets caught in another arm lock. And then there's the shoulder tackles from Lyons and a hip toss and a knee in the corner. And then Kayla starts to come back and starts choking Nikita Lyons on the top rope and comes back with these knees to the gut. Lyons catches her with a roll-up for a 2 count and then delivers some knees of her own and then a punch to the gut. She roars like a lion and does a series of kicks. Inlay tries for a German suplex, but Nikita blocks it and hits a German of her own, a kip up, and then a pretty cool looking spin kick, followed by the split leg drop for the pin.
Yeah, so what's the real finish? Is like the kick to the head knocks her out, but then she split leg drops you because it looks cool.
Yeah. I did like the kind of the spin kick. It looked kind of nice. But...
The fade to black, the black mass, the lion's roar. I'm sure she'll call it something.
The lion's
like
roar, yeah, probably.
I mean, this was the real main event for most. Seeing Nikita Lyons finally debut on NXT. Yeah, like it did have some slow parts that I would think like your first kind of showcase here for anyone who's not watched 205 or Level Up or anything to kind of maybe do a few more exciting, flashy moves. But then she did end up hitting like a cool German suplex and those kicks and stuff. And I think who used to do, a lot of people used to do the splits like leg drop. I'm thinking Melina, Cameron,
Naomi, I think.
Naomi. Yeah. I didn't necessarily think she was bad, and obviously has how did Wade Barrett describe she I think there's potential, but I wasn't enough to like kind of do too much for me right away.
I think we've seen
she wasn't bad.
We've seen Kayla Inlay in 2 of these matches now, like these just enhancement matches, and she's actually got quite a bit of offense in both of them, and she impressed me more in both of her matches than her opponent. Nikita Lyons, all of her vignettes were showing her striking and things, and just didn't really show any of it until the end. And I thought, apart from that final kick, I didn't think her strikes looked very good. And I think they just gave a bit too much to her opponent here, who they're not really trying to feature. Obviously, she's very new. Like, I don't know how many matches she's had, but she's not been wrestling long at all. She's a product of the PC. So she's not going to be great right away, but I don't think they did a good job in actually just, showcase strengths, showcase your strengths and hide your weaknesses. I don't think they did a really great job of. And just, you see her in all these vignettes with nunchucks and punching bags, and then she's doing wrist lock, hammerlock, headlock, arm drag, hip toss, and you're like, okay. So yeah, I think she's got a look, and I think the singing fighting thing could work, but I didn't think this was the best way to do a debut match on NXT.
I mean, wrestling Twitter just went nuts for her when she showed up, because it was the first time a lot of people got to see her, and I guess she's pretty popular on wrestling Twitter. But it wasn't enough to make me go, I want to give her a chance. I do think if you're showing, maybe it's Chekhov's gun here. I've seen you with nunchucks. I didn't get any nunchucks today, so maybe you need to be a bad guy and start. I don't know how you would incorporate nunchuck, like Steve Blackman. Even Steve Blackman didn't really use the nunchucks, so I don't know. But yeah,
I almost feel like you should have just had her do the kick and win. Like I felt it was a short match, but I wouldn't call it a squash match, because Inlay got quite a bit in against her and kind of had her in the ropes for a bit. And I think you just show this one would have looked way more like a killer. She's been talking the talk all these weeks. Yeah. If she just did strike, spin kick to the head and that leg drop finish, you'd go, oh, wow, okay. And kind of build it up a bit more, maybe. But anyway, we go backstage to Duke Hudson, and Persia Pirotta comes in and congratulates him on his win. And he just grabs her by the waist and kisses her. Indie Hartwell walks in, and this was a right smooch.
Oh, man. This was pause, stare at each other deeply in the eyes, and he just grabs her and just swap and spit. Tonsil hockey.
Oh, yeah.
On TV.
Indie Hartwell walks in and goes, "Oh, Persia, gross! What are you doing?" And Persia kind of walks off.
She runs off.
And Duke says, "Gross? Well, you used to enjoy it." And he says, "Well, that was a long time ago, Duke." "Well, it doesn't have to be." And then the camera pans and we see Dexter, who's seen the whole thing, and just drops his head. It's as if he's in Arrested Development. Charlie Brown's music gonna play. And he walks off. And then he's like, no, it wasn't. You didn't see everything. It's not what you think. Yeah.
Yeah, this is like a cartoon come to life. This was like a Calvin and Hobbes. I don't know what this was. Bugs Bunny style sketch, but the kiss was like a little abrupt, a little aggressive from Duke. But so I'm assuming the story is Indy used to date Duke or whatever, and now Dexter's finding out about it, so he's heard about it.
Yeah, and Persia is Indy's warning Persia about him, but is it out of jealousy or is it because he was a right dick to her? But yeah, Dexter got the wrong idea here.
Yeah, I don't know. What's the storyline? NXT is horny, but like, damn, we're taking this to next levels now.
Duke seemed really wooden here as well. He kept doing this thing where he'd like puff his chest out. Like before he grabbed her, he like puffed his chest out as if he was gonna like do a dance. And then even after, he was like, "Gross. Well, you used to enjoy it," and puffed his chest out even more. It was quite peculiar. But beats
I don't know.
Being behind a poker table, I guess.
Yeah, now he's playing with OPP. I don't know. I didn't like it. I can tell you that, because when it cut to Dexter, I guess they were trying to make me laugh when he did that reaction. I did in fact see Michael Cera arrested.
Yeah, absolutely.
Head down, and I chuckled, and I don't think it was the laugh that they think they were getting. Like it was more of a.
I don't know. Like Dexter is this silent comedy character, somewhat. So yeah.
I don't know. The second they announced this whole wedding thing, even before back then, we were like, okay, cool. You know, this is going to lead. It's a fictional relationship that's going to lead in someone breaking someone's heart, and we figure Indy will make a great heel eventually. I think the swerve is she gets with Duke. Oh wait, well now he's kissing Persia. I don't know.
Then that's how you go to Persia v Indy and Dexter v Duke, I guess. I don't. Maybe we do. Maybe it's like closer. We just switch it all around. Have Persia with Dexter. Have Indy with Duke.
Movie. Great. You're gonna have Dexter be like.
You get the line. That should be like
Dexter's...
the first proper line from Dexter. Thank you. Thank you for your honesty. Now and die you. Yeah, you know.
Dexter's first line he'll say that. Yeah. Wow.
If you don't know what we're talking about, watch Closer.
The movie Closer. Julia Roberts.
The classic Clive Owen line. Julia Roberts, Natalie Portman, Jude Law, Clive Owen.
It's a really good movie if you want your heart broken just from watching a movie. Yeah. If you're going through relationship problems, maybe don't watch that movie.
That's what we need next week. After Brooks Jensen finally gets with Kayden and they get the breakup, Josh Briggs needs to sit him down and show him Closer, right?
Like, I feel weird. Like I love wrestling, the silly world of pro wrestling, but I watched Raw last night, and the whole 24/7 thing with Dana Brooke and
Reggie.
What's that guy's? Reggie is so like exactly
Terrible.
what we're seeing. Yeah, but we've been seeing that same shit in like NXT, and tonight we have guys trying to do the dating app stuff while we have other storylines. Like they're all like similar. They're all going around relationships and stuff, and it kind of just feels like cringy.
Oh yeah, it is.
Very, very.
But that's what they're preparing them for now, isn't it? It's like
it's like, hey, you need to know how to.
Why do the super indies when eventually you're gonna have to you can fight over a shitty championship with Dana Brooke? So we might as well train you here.
It doesn't matter if you can do 5-star matches and this and that and go the distance. What matters is if you can act and know how to kiss on screen.
Exactly.
Cheat.
You're seeing the light, Braden. You're seeing the light.
Definitely seeing it. Yeah, I'm not watching Raw ever fucking again. Not once. Raw through Twitter, way more fun. But I will continue to watch this show because now I got to see if Brooks gets with Kayden. Now I got to see if Indy and Dex split up or something. Like they got me. This is like soap opera, relationships, all that. It's sex sells.
We go to Robert Stone with Von Wagner. Robert Stone says, "We heard what you said earlier, Andre Chase, and you may be book smart, but you're not street smart. Last time I tried, I gave you a pass, I gave you a bye, but next week you won't be so lucky. This is Von Wagner's world." And Von finishes off, "And you're just living in it."
Remember when we used to do BD Elite, or what did we call it before that? We called
Brian
it
Cage.
Extra. It's exactly like Brian Cage. It's like the one guy says all your stuff, and then who's better than Cage? Nobody. It's like he doesn't sound the way.
I didn't think Von sounded as bad as he sounded before here. But
I don't know. Again, I think he's an incredible wrestler, but I don't know. Even literally, you had one fucking line, and you still sounded weird. I don't know. I think we can turn this around though. I think Robert Stone and Von Wagner actually will work, but they got to do better than that.
And now Von is all in the suit and everything.
He looks better.
I think this is just almost the entry feud, isn't it? Since they kind of reestablish his character, and he's just going to murder this guy next week, and then maybe move on to bigger things. But I've agreed with you in the past with him, but he said 5 words here. It didn't really bother me.
He said maybe 2. You're just living in it, and I laughed. So I do think they can make this work. I do think eventually this pairing will work, but it still made me laugh.
We go to the Creed brothers with Malcolm Bivens, and they're celebrating the win of the Dusty Classic. Bivens says, "Let's talk about perception versus reality. Imperium want to say that they're real athletes, but they aren't NCAA athletes or Olympic tryouts, but the Creed brothers are. Fabian and Marcel haven't even won the Dusty Classic. They say they're fighting champions, but they haven't defended it in weeks." And then Gunner, what's his name again? "Is he real or fake? You're just a coleslaw and wiener schnitzel eating." And then Imperium's music hit, and they come out, and Gunther says, "You will not speak of Imperium in this fashion." And Bivens once again calls him Gunner. He goes, "It's pronounced Gunther, and you will show Gunther respect. And it doesn't matter if you've won the Dusty Cup. You'll never take these tag team championships away from us." And then Imperium and the Creeds start to brawl, and Gunther just stares down Malcolm Bivens, who cowers into the corner when Solo Sikoa, out of nowhere, just drops Gunther with this super kick, and a very scared looking Bivens just gives him the thumbs up.
Yeah, quite interesting that it kind of incorporating a few different pieces here where you have, first of all, I already had my Skeet Davidson reference earlier, but Malcolm Bivens calling Gunther Gunna is, he's pushing that P. He's dripping too hard. I laughed so hard. And then he got a reaction, and then he says it again specifically to get the reaction. But Gunna is the name of a popular rapper these days, so he's calling him Gunna, right. Which I think he should continue to. Malcolm Bivens was in his zone, because as he was doing that, the crowd were chanting Walter, and Gunther's like, no, that's not my name, and they're chanting Walter. Bivens was cracking a smile, like, yeah, all right, I'm good at this. I think he is good at this. And yeah, Solo Sikoa mixing in, that sounds good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that match. That's coming next week, I think. Solo Sikoa,
yeah,
and Walter.
Solo Sikoa,
Gunther,
Walter,
sorry,
yeah. Gunna.
So yeah, quite looking forward to that one. We have more of Briggs and Jensen, and they're still taking videos. And Fallon, the bartender, comes in and says, "Hey, you can just take a picture." He's like, "What?" It's like, "Yeah, let me take a picture of you, and I'll set up your profile."
She's helping them here, yeah.
And Jensen's like, "What the fuck, man? We've been doing all these videos, and I can just take a picture?" And Briggs goes, "Well, your disastrous dating life is my favorite form of entertainment." So I think they listen. I think this was for us, and I think Briggs was kind of just channeling us here. He's like, "Yeah, I'm just making you do all this dumb shit because it's very entertaining in a really weird way."
But I would never do that to you. Would you ever do that to me?
No, I don't mean. I mean hearing us talk about these guys. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I thought like these segments are terrible, but I thought Briggs is starting to sound more natural here. Actually, he's doing less of the kind of I am playing a macho man, grabbing his belt and all that, and he actually sounded like a human being this week. Jensen, not so much.
I love. Where's the smile when he just poses? Like it's the awkward smile with like almost his eyes closed or whatever. It's like
I'm putting it in the show graphic this week.
It's amazing. It's so funny. It's like when you're super stoned, he's just like smiling, like It's so good. I mean, so another like the storyline is he's interested in Kayden, but I think Fallon maybe she's going to be interested in them or one of them. Or
is Fallon gonna like Jensen and then Briggs likes Fallon? I don't know.
Just love.
All I know is we're gonna get a lot more of this.
Yeah, this ain't over. This is not over. Fallon is gonna join these two every week. We're gonna see these three now just do more dating. I think he's gonna have Tinder now. We got to have an interaction with Grayson Waller, like helping him.
Yeah,
he's put your height on it, and put pictures with fish or whatever dudes do on that thing. More of that. Jensen would be a guy who puts
a
picture of himself with a fish and his truck. Yeah. His thing will be like one half of an NXT tag team. I love my truck. I love beer. I love fishing. It's shit like that.
Absolutely. Die Hard's his favorite movie.
Die Hard? No, I think I'm trying to think of like what's a more bro-y movie. There's more bro-y movies than Die Hard, like Top Gun. I don't know. There's something that we're not missing. What's the real bro-y? Like I feel like Anchorman got in that spot, even though it's amazing, but like it got super people like Tagadale Nights, right? Because they use lines from that movie in their things. Yeah.
We see some footage from the PC of Draco training and working out when he's approached by Joe Gacy and Haaland. And Mackenzie's interviewing Gacy as this footage is showing. And Gacy says, look, we approached him at the place he feels most comfortable, in a gym at night, all alone. And he took it the wrong way, but that's okay. And you're seeing in the kind of security footage here, Draco pushing them away. And he said, but he's a nice piece of clay that would be lovely to mold. And next week he'll be in a match and he'll realize it's far better to be surrounded by friends than be alone.
Yeah, he's using more of those buzzwords in the promo, being against each other. I do, I will say Joe Gacy is not wrong about something. Sometimes people are on opposite sides of the conversation, and that doesn't mean, it's the end of the world, right? So I think a lot of people do need to actually, just because, people have different things like my tweet about Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, which now my phone tells me is 1,000 people are arguing with me over this. It's like, hey, just because you're on the opposite side, it's okay as long as no one, but I kind of want Draco to join these guys.
Yeah. Actually, I think he should be just murdered
brainwashed
next week and taken under their wing. I liked sometimes with these two, well, with Gacy, it's buzzwords for the sake of buzzwords, but I liked kind of the disguise here where he's saying, because we've seen Draco's whole thing is, I'm like the last one in the gym at night, the first one there in the morning. And he's been saying this in his vignettes for a few weeks now. But him saying we approached him in a place he feels most comfortable. He's saying it as if it's a good thing. But no, he actually ambushed him when he's all alone at night, which no one wants to be alone at night being approached by Haaland, that's scary. And even at the end when he's like, it's far better to be surrounded by friends, you think he's going to say surrounded by enemies, but he's like, no, than be alone. So I think it's kind of clever, the stuff he's doing here, and interested to see kind of the next evolution. And I think having maybe recruit this guy into into their team would be a good next step.
Yeah.
We go to our next Dusty Classic women's tag match. It's Ivy Nile and Tatum Paxley taking on Kacy and Kayden. Kacy and Kayden make their entrance. Now they've got these like light up, glow in the dark shoulder pad kind of things as they're blowing these smoke cannons. It's a rave. Yeah. Fantastic stuff.
So lit.
We get a spinning splash from Kacy for a 2 count. She goes for a Rana, but gets hoisted up into an electric chair by Tatum and then launched, just thrown off the shoulders into a big right hand to the gut from Ivy Nile. There's this kick to the throat from Ivy Nile, and then they tried this like double team sort of, it was almost like the Magic Killer kind of, but didn't look great from Ivy and Tatum here. There was then a standing moonsault from Paxley, which did look quite nice. And then Kayden comes in with the super kick, and Kayden and Kacy hit their 450 splash neck breaker combo to Tatum for the win.
Yeah, it was pretty quick. It allowed some offense from Ivy and Tatum, but like you said, there was some weird stuff as well. But it felt pretty quick, and it felt like Kayden and Kacy also got their kind of high spot stuff in there. The like roll through Cabrata kick, super kick thing from Kayden always looks good. What did you think of Kacy Catanzaro's braids? Were they braids? What were those things on her head? They look like braids to me.
Like,
obviously, attachment. What do you call it?
Yeah, like extensions. Tracks. It was kind of like extensions. Lance Archer's, wasn't it? Like she had red on one side and white on the other. Or like Xia Li's kind of done this as well. Yeah, they were right. Their looks evolving, you know.
Sorry, Kacy Catanzaro and Lance Archer have similar hairstyles.
Yeah,
someone needs to put those two together.
Yeah, that was all right. No, I thought this did a good. I think that it did showcase Ivy Nile a bit. Like it did keep her strong. After the match, she beats up Paxley for kind of losing the match and puts her in this choke. And then Roddy kind of tells her, "All right, chill now. That's enough." So I think they kept Ivy Nile strong in this, and I thought her offense looked pretty good as always. But Kacy and Kayden's the right team to move forward here, and I think them mixing up with like EO and Kaylee Ray could be a pretty fun match. They are pretty much the female MSK for me. I think they're really kind of fun and exciting to watch in the ring, and they've really worked on their sort of tag moves and stuff. I just find them annoying outside the ring, but I've got no problem with their actual ring work, and hoping sort of to see some. Now we're moving into the semi-finals. I think we should get some better matches in this tournament.
Yeah, like both matches today were just squash matches, really. I felt like the Nikita Lyons match went longer than these matches, honestly. I like how Ivy is like, all right, this partner I got sucks. I'm just going to beat her up.
I was completely expecting it. Before the match even started, I'm like, oh, you're not going to have them win here. I'm just trying to see the brackets for the women's actually. I'm not super into Kacy and Kayden, but I do think that they have improved and could do longer, more serious matches that do click and not just these kind of flashy matches. But yeah, they're very ravey with their entrance. Yeah, they'll be taking on EO and Kaylee Ray in the semi, so I expect that to be a pretty good match. Those two.
Yeah. All right. I like the girl's name was Tatum, and it reminds me of, I think, Scream. The friend's name was Tatum. Scream. Am I crazy?
Wait, the new
OG Scream. No, the OG Tatum. Am I nuts?
Can't remember.
All right. Wilt Chamberlain.
We go to Solo Sikoa, who says, last week I said I'd take the biggest guy and drop him, and I did just that. Bivens walks in and thanks Solo Sikoa for helping him and says, you got the juice now, Oos, and goes for a high five. But Sikoa says, I didn't do it for you, I did it for me, and walks off. And Bivens still has his hand in the air for the high five, so kind of offers it to Mackenzie, and she's like, nah, mate.
You got the juice.
You got the juice, Oos.
Yeah, you know where that's from.
I do, yes. Yeah, check it out. Patreon.com/upNXT.
we did a
Juice.
we did a review of Juice Tupac, and yeah, look at you. You're keep catching all these little one-liners.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
LA Knight's backstage and says, "Just when I think I've had the last of you, you get a sneak 1, 2, 3. I got to give you credit for that. But then Sanga goes down. Then Waller goes down. And I'm the last man standing. LA Knight." Yeah. So again, said the last man standing thing. So I think we know where this is going. But
Yeah.
that takes us to the main event. Dolph Ziggler versus Tommaso Ciampa, number one contenders for the NXT Championship. Ciampa makes his way to the ring and he's hyped. He's yelling, "This is my home," always has been and always will be. They get to the action right away. Dolph goes for a super kick, which Ciampa ducks. Ciampa then goes for the fairy tale ending, but Dolph blocks it. And then he goes for his big running knee, but Ziggler dodges this as well. They then square off and we just get this headbutt to the chin from Ziggler. And then Ziggler starts dragging Ciampa's face across the ropes. Ciampa fires back with a series of clothesline, lowers his knee pad and goes for his knee strike again, but this is blocked. Ziggler goes for the zigzag, but that is blocked. And finally, Ciampa connects with the knee like a V-trigger into the ropes. Then catapults Dolph into the corner and follows with a big clothesline and drop kick. And then comes Ziggler out of nowhere, hits the zigzag. Oh yeah, sorry. There's this kind of drop kick from Dolph and then comes and just meets this big right hand out of nowhere, which rocks him, but manages to hit the zigzag, and just Ziggler is knocked out almost from this and just falls on top of Ciampa for a great near fall for the 2 count. Ziggler then gets up, goes for the super kick, but eats a big boot, followed by Project Ciampa, but Ziggler kicks out. Ciampa exposes the knee again, hits a V-trigger, 1, 2, but Ziggler gets the foot on the rope. And then they're brawling on the outside. Ziggler runs Ciampa into the ring post and hits the zigzag on the floor. He tries to roll Ciampa back in and just makes it in time for the 10 count. He's setting up for his big super kick, but Ciampa evades it, goes for the fairy tale ending, but his left arm now is kind of messed up from the zigzag on the floor, and he can't actually hook the other arm for the move. And then this allows Ziggler to apply a sleeper, which I thought this might have been the finish because Ciampa was completely rocked after the zigzag on the outside. But Ciampa gets back to his feet and drops Ziggler on his back, but only a 2 count. They're now fighting on the apron with chops back and forth, and Ciampa delivers the air raid crash on the apron, but then is attacked by a masked cameraman, a shot to the head with a camera, allowing Dolph to hit the super kick. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, before we go to the post-match, what did you think of the match here?
Yeah, I mean, I am a big fan of Ciampa. He is kind of in this weird limbo thing since the change of NXT, and I'm happy that he's still here and putting on good matches, but it's still kind of just feels a bit moved away from this. I just don't know where we're going. But then they in like this little bubble of NXT, we got Ziggler, who's now here, which isn't normal. So it is pretty cool that 2 guys that you wouldn't really expect to have a match here on Tuesday. And you know what, Ziggler, I feel like it's definitely past the time when Ziggler was super over and a lot of people were like getting really behind him, and they've heated him up and dropped the ball and heated him up and dropped the ball so many times where I'm just like, okay, it's just Ziggler. But you know what, he still puts on some pretty good matches. The crowd here were super hot for this. I know halfway through the match they were chanting "Fight Forever," which I think I don't know if Ziggler's gotten that in quite a long time. Or maybe at all in past recent, but those crowds love to just chant that, don't they? But you know what? I did get into this match. It had some pretty cool stuff, but the whole match. I'm like, all right, where is he? Where's that dirty damn dog who's been in NXT before? And sure as shit, well, he comes here at the end. But it protects Ciampa in a way. But I think the money match and the match that we were all expecting is Ziggler to win. But I still thought it was a good match. Great main event. Obviously, match of the night.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed this. I often feel a bit shortchanged by the NXT main events, and I didn't feel that here. I thought we actually got a decent amount of time, even with a commercial break breaking it up. I didn't feel because often I feel like we do the entrances, we get commercial break, we have 3 minutes of the match, commercial break, and then we kind of go right to the finish. Whereas I felt we got a decent match here, and even though we knew there was going to be some sort of screwy finish, but it didn't really bother me. And I liked the stuff with Ciampa's arm kind of being messed up. What I love about Ciampa as well is he's now got all these finishers, so it makes a lot of the near falls really work, because he's got, the air raid crash, he's got his vicious knee to the head, he's got the fairy tale ending, he's got the Willow's bell, and I kind of like, and even with Dolph to an extent, he's got the super kick and the zigzag
sleeper.
And the sleeper.
We used to use that, yeah.
Yeah, which I think having multiple finishers makes these near falls work way more, rather than just hitting a DDT and you go, well, he's going to kick out because it's just a DDT, No, I thought they worked a really nice match here. And yeah, like Dolph has been heated and dropped, but like I think that makes him a good kind of candidate to come down to NXT and show, yeah, but he has good wrestling. Like that's what I want to see at the end of the day is good wrestling matches, and we did get it here. And I think he'll be a good guy to work against Braun, because he's just going to bump around like crazy. But also Braun being kind of the baby face here as well. I totally see him giving Ciampa that rubber match down the line. So yeah, solid main event for me, and probably my favorite NXT match on TV for a while, actually, because I really enjoyed this. After the match, it's revealed that Bobby Roode is the cameraman, and they start beating down on Ciampa. Bron Breakker runs out for the save and chases them off, grabs the mic and says, "You guys want to do 2-on-1, huh? Well, how about next week? It's us 2 versus you 2. How about you find your balls and we'll fight right now?" And Roode and Ziggler kind of walk off like, nah, we don't want to fight right now. And then psych, they turn around, run to the ring, and we get a big brawl as NXT goes off the air.
I love how Bron Breakker always mentions numbers, therefore math, in his promos, and B, it was 02 22 2022 today?
Yeah.
Or something along those lines.
And wanted 2 versus 2.
Yeah, he said 2, and there's just lots of 2s on Tuesday. I like when Braun was like, yo, find your ball. That's what I mean. And Braun is good at kind of getting to the point. He's not the guy who's going to go out and cut these long promos even earlier in the show. He's like, yo, grab your ball. Like, obviously saying balls in wrestling is just so popular right now. But hey, grab your balls and let's fight is pretty much his character. And
Even with the line earlier about the Canadian tuxedo, he's like, hey, I'm not paid to dress, I'm paid to fight. Yeah. He's like straight to the point. He definitely sounds like Scott, but is way more sensible in his promo style than Scott Steiner is. Yeah, I'm a fan, and I am looking forward to the match, actually. I think both Dolph and Roode are stale on the main roster, but it does kind of... They're both talented wrestlers, and it kind of freshens them up in my eyes a little bit. So I like the integration of main roster with NXT and hope we see more of it moving forwards. And I think we will. We've already had, AJ come down and these guys come down. And I think it makes the show, it makes up for me for you have like the real green beginner stuff that we see. But at least you get some stuff like this and maybe feature some guys who aren't doing as much on the main roster who can help some of this talent down here. So
see, like I like Dolph, and shout out former NXT champion Bobby Roode, pays to be rude, to show up here again. But I can't say that they're doing the main roster Teddy Long thing. That's like, hey, tag team match next week. They seem to be doing a lot more main roster stuff like that. So it's like, would I be interested in watching the Dirty Dogs on Raw or SmackDown? Not really. Am I interested in watching them on NXT? Still not really. But I am interested in seeing Ziggler in maybe like this title chase, which I do not think he's winning the title, but I do think that they'll put on some good match and probably a good story. But I am like, okay, cool. Ciampa and Braun are teaming up again to do a tag team match, but it's like, all right, you got to continue with the story and lead into this. The thing is, I'm happy that we're finally getting out of Full Sail PC and like leading to something again. I know we just had a Vengeance Day like TV show episode, but to kind of promote something that is going to happen and treat it like somewhat big. I could see them doing Ziggler Braun before then, but what, 6 weeks away before that, around then? So I mean, I don't know, that's a long time to promote this match. Could you see them making it a triple threat or anything, shenanigans around there? Or?
It depends on, not that Dolph couldn't do double duty, but it depends whether they have any plans for the Dirty Dogs at Mania. You know, it's a 2-night Mania. You could have a multi-tag match or something for the titles there with these guys involved. It kind of depends what they want to do. It's 6 weeks is still, like, when it comes to kind of NXT, feels a bit of a long time. But they could. Either way, I'm interested. I don't mind seeing Braun versus Ciampa Part 3, and I don't mind seeing Dolph versus Braun either. So
yeah.
Either way, I'm all right with it, and I've got no problem with the tag. That's how you do these stories, you know? Like
yeah, for sure.
But yeah, overall mixed bag of show. Main event was definitely the best stuff there, and but there is direction. We are moving forward with stuff, which is good, and I think NXT has been better for that the last few weeks with building to your Vengeance Days, your Halloween Havocs, your New Year's Evils. They're keeping the sort of specials a nice distance apart, so we've at least got a destination each time.
Yeah, I like, I had some stuff on the show, specifically the main event, and again, just hate loving Briggs and Jensen. It still is like this weird, like, just mixed bag of NXT just being horny. I think is still this thing, like from the Toxic Lounge to Duke making out with Persia to like the dating profile things. It's a lot to take in. It's a lot to take in, but I didn't necessarily hate this week's episode. It was just kind of there. It was all right.
Well, that's what we thought. Let's see what you guys thought. Every week we post up our feedback threads on the upNXT group on Facebook and forum.postwrestling.com. And I'll read the first two here because the first one's very short, which just says, Nikita Lyons, heart eye emoji. That is all. Well, thank you, Ron.
I felt that. Yeah. Thank you, Ron. I felt that. Lions roar. Put your roars up. Lions up.
We go to Sean, who says, thank God for the main event. Ciampa and Ziggler put on an absolute clinic, and I love the finish. Rude has returned to NXT. I'm looking forward to the tag match next week and the one-on-one at Stand and Deliver while Braun takes on Dolph in the title match. Thanks also goes out to Bivens and Diamond Mind, who shined in all facets tonight. The promo segment with the Creeds and Imperium was excellent. Ivy Nile is a beast, and I like Tatum Paxley as a possible addition if they decide to go that route. I don't think they are after Nile kind of murdering her after. Solo Sikoa as a target for recruitment is also interesting, particularly if Roddy leaves. Other than that, this episode sucked pretty hard. Opening match was fine, but the finish was awkward. Lash Legend is so bad that I think I actually saw Io and Kaylee Ray regress before my eyes. And 3 fucking segments of this Briggs and Jensen bullshit. Not only that, but Nikita Lyons' hype debut landed with a thud. Why is NXT rushing these talents out there? You have NXT Level Up. Use it. Next week's show looks good on paper, but with this week being the second straight up awful show in the last month, I'm taking nothing for granted.
I mean, they do use Level Up. They do use 205 Live. Like, Nikita Lyons has wrestled on these shows. Yeah. Lash Legend has wrestled on these shows quite a bit. But
I think what he's saying is, put them on TV when they're ready for TV. Like, have them be on Level Up for months before you put them on here. Like, showing how green they are. Some of these people have only had 4 matches and they're on TV and kind of sucking. And it's not fair to them, is it? Really?
Yeah, that's not their. It's not their fault. They're being thrown into the deep end sometimes. We go to, well, Sean also wrote in that he's saying they manscaped Cameron Grimes, which I mean, I am assuming he means like his chest. Did they shave Grimes' beard shorter, hair shorter, chest off? I don't know. We go to Megan, who writes in, where was this synergy during the black and gold era? Ciampa Ziggler was a damn good main event, which weaved in Ciampa's appearance on Raw the night before, and the use of Bobby was smart. Nikita Lyons looks solid. I do think her martial arts background will translate well to a pro wrestling setting. She needs to find a character and she'll be set. I'm glad NXT is going back to the road for the first time in 2 years with Stand and Deliver. The roster needs the reps to get better.
And finally, we finish with TJ, who says, I'm a few weeks behind on the show, and as such, this show, but I managed to catch the end of the main event at work. Ziggles in NXT and Rude. I don't understand why yet, but I'm on board for it. Let's hope Ziggler gets to show us why he's called the show-off. Thoughts on NXT as a whole? I haven't loved it. Then again, I haven't hated it. Favorite 2.0 character is so far Wendy Chu. I hope she's incorporated more of her gimmick into her arsenal. I want to see some Legend of Sleeping Master snore foo type shit. I also like Haaland, but can someone explain the difference between him and Loomis? Till next time.
Yeah, Harland is Harland and Loomis is no. They're both
Harland
mean,
is
big,
woke,
scary.
and Loomis is in love.
So he's not. Dexter's not woke because he's in love. He's just simping.
Maybe
you're implying Dexter's not woke. I mean, maybe he's woke. Well, he had his heart broke tonight on NXT. Yeah, that's it. That's
it.
NXT. Reminder, guys, we do this all again tomorrow night for BD Elite on this very free feed. So go check us out, talking all about AEW Dynamite and everything to come into that. We got Revolution coming in a few weeks, and again, the live watch along in the downtown Toronto. If you're in the area, come hang out. Eventbrite is where you can get a ticket to that. It's only $10. Come hang out and watch the pay-per-view. Shout out Dickie for the graphic on that as well, the GOAT. And again, follow us on the socials and stuff if you haven't already, because we love the community, our Facebook group, upNXT podcast group, and all that stuff. Go find us, join. And we love interacting with all you people. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow night.
We will indeed.
That's it. All right. Guys, I myself, Braden Herrington. You can find me on Twitter and I'm on Instagram. I am at the Bray D.
And I am at Davie Portman.
Take care. Goodbye. Be safe. And remember, Brett is better than Sean.
Ahoy!
First time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking each day as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything, BDE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you can never really know what's up next.